Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Dr. Psych Mom Show. Today, I am taking another requested topic, which is how to know if you're raising emotionally intelligent kids, which I am also moving into how to raise emotionally intelligent kids, because what if you figure out that you're not, then what? So I will address both of those, but before I do, please do click on the link to subscribe, and then you'll get all my bonus content, and the one most recent was about kids and privacy, and whether they should have any, or whether it should be a police state in your house. No, just kidding. But I do address kids and privacy on social media, phones, and whatever else, room. And so please do click subscribe if you are getting anything out of these podcasts. So anyhow, what does emotionally intelligent mean? It means that you can read other people's emotions and you're aware of your own. These two things usually go together. You can't really be emotionally intelligent if you have no idea what your own feelings are, and you can't really know what your feelings are if you have no idea what anybody else's feelings are. So usually, what this can be just another way of saying is empathy. So I've written about how to teach little kids empathy. I'll link to that in the description, but there are also ways to ensure that you are teaching older kids empathy, many of the same ways, some a little bit different. So in general, empathy is the ability to understand somebody else's feelings. The only way that your kids are going to know this is if you talk about your feelings, not if you talk about their feelings, because sometimes you're going to get it wrong because you're not them. So I've talked about this over-validating kids and like trying to get into their brain, and like the kid has like a little expression that you think might be a frown, so you jump on it and you're like, oh my God, are you sad? Are you feeling big feelings of sadness? Or like whatever the hell people say right now. It's like that kid may have been feeling irritated, bored, angry, disgusted, whatever. And now all of a sudden, not only are they told that it's sad, but sad is something that makes mommy very interested and very intensely react, or daddy nowadays too. Men have jumped on the over-validation bandwagon too. So this kid learns my feelings. First of all, I must not know what they are, because I certainly didn't know that one was sad, but now I guess I do. And if I have a negative feeling like sadness, this is a way to get mom or dad's intense attention, and so it must be like really important, and I can't just like have a feeling and it passes or anything. It has to be dwelled on, and this is not a way to create a resilient or an empathic child. It's mostly a way to create a very self-centered child that's scared of their negative emotions and or uses them because to manipulate others, because they understand that these are like really important and get every adult's attention in the room. So that's not what anybody wants. That's the opposite of emotionally intelligent. Emotionally intelligent is somebody generally who is empathic toward others' feelings as well. So the only way to do this is really to talk about the only person you know, which is you. You only really know your own feelings. Certainly, you can help, and I write about this in my post, you can, when you're reading a story, or if you have a pet or something, or a baby, is in the house, or you have a younger sibling, you can ask, oh, gee, I wonder what they are feeling. This is what I think they're feeling. What do you think they're feeling? But really, the only person whose feelings you really know are yours. So you can start there for how to teach your child about emotions. So you could say, oh, I am feeling so frustrated that I forgot to fill up the car with gas, and now I'm really irritated at myself that I'm going to have to do it. I really teaches me to just jot those things down maybe, and then I wouldn't be in this predicament where we're going to be late. This is not a big deal. You're not crying. You're not screaming. You're not banging your head into the steering wheel about it. You are narrating emotion. And I'll also link you to my article about how mothers are really the main person who can teach boys about women and their feelings. So if you want your son to be an empathic husband one day, how the hell is he going to know what his wife is feeling if he never knew what his mother's feeling? I see this all the time in couples counseling. The guy had a mom who, like many women, she just loved her son, a little baby boy, and she just didn't want to burden him with any of her feelings, really. So she kind of kept them to herself, figured he wouldn't be interested. And now he literally has no idea what a woman may be feeling at any moment. So if you are the mother of a son, this is a great thing to do, is to share your emotions, and not just the bad ones like, irritation or what have you, but happy. Oh, it made me so happy when Daddy sent me those flowers. That was such a nice thing for him to do. I really like getting a present. Or I felt so proud of myself at work today. A client told me that I did a really good job. I felt so good about myself. If you just start saying things about your own feelings, this is like giving a course to your child in emotions. And it has a benefit, double benefit of helping you be more cognizant of your emotions if you're not somebody who instinctively does this, which makes everything go better. Because believe me, if you're a woman, your husband really also wants the stream of consciousness so that he could know what the hell is going on in your head and what he's walking into when he comes home or when he sees you, why you look how you look. So direct communication is a major thing that I teach in couples counseling. A lot of women feel that their husband ought to somehow pick up on their mood, like he's in a seance. He should just kind of sniff the air and feel the spirit. This is not useful. This is not real. You need to get into the mode of constantly kind of scanning yourself for what you're feeling, and then if it's relevant to how you're acting, telling people about it. Everything from, I'm getting my period tomorrow, so I'm probably not going to be in a good mood. I'm not in a good mood the day before my period. Your kids should know that. Aren't your kids going to either get a period or interact with someone who has a period? Sure. Probably. So why would they not know that intel? That doesn't mean that every single woman responds that way, although everyone I've met usually does. But it means that this is something, a data point. When women are about to get their period, they get irritable. Here is a point of knowledge. What about in the realm of the marriage? Oh, when Dad is late coming home, it's hard for me. That's why I tell him to call. See, he's calling now to tell me that he's going to be late. He didn't used to do that when we were first married. He didn't used to call me. And I told him, why don't you call me so I know when to take out dinner? Now he does. So it makes me feel good that he calls now. You know how much information is in that would be useful to your child's future therapist? Even one, how many people tell me, I'm like, what'd your parents think about each other? You heard them fighting. What did they fight about? They're like, I don't know. I just heard raised voices. I don't know anything that happened. Meanwhile, any piece of data like that, think about that. So you're teaching, let's say a 10-year-old. You're saying, I have a relationship that does not involve you, which is usually just in today's day and age. That in and of itself is mind-blowing, that Dad and I didn't just purely get together to make you and raise you the center of the universe. So we had a relationship, and in that relationship, he did something that bothered me. So I directly stated to him that this thing bothered me, and then he changed because he loves me. And now he does this thing, calling me when he's going to be late, that really makes me feel better, because it's hard for me when I take out the dinner and then it just sits there forever because he doesn't come home. There's so much information in that. A child just hearing something like that, a little blip of how you resolved a problem in your relationship, probably makes them 2% more emotionally intelligent, that day out of that one thing. So many kids are just don't ever hear anything that is like what a parent would ever tell a friend. So boundaries are well and good. You're not supposed to tell them, Dad used to go down on me in this way that I didn't really like, and then he finally got it together. Obviously not. It's not good boundaries. But you know how many parents swing to the opposite extreme, especially if they themselves had parents who were too free and loose with boundaries and they got exposed to too many adult topics. Then with their own kids, you wouldn't even know that they're not like, I don't even know what, the Chuck E. Cheese mascot for all that they have an adult inner world. They're just there to facilitate the enjoyment of the child, and the child doesn't even know barely anything that goes on in the parent's head that does not relate to the child. And this is not the way to raise an emotionally intelligent child. This child has no empathy at all for what's going on with the parent, and therefore is going to likely have limited empathy for what goes on with anybody that isn't them. So the way that you would know that you're raising an emotionally intelligent, emotionally aware child is that they express curiosity and interest and empathy in other people, and that they're able to verbalize their own emotions. But that's second. The other one is first, because so many kids today have been trained to say, they're like 3 years old, they're like, I'm frustrated, right? And that's cute and all. You know when it stops being cute? When they're like 10 and all they can say is, I'm frustrated, I'm angry, I'm upset. And it's always the negative ones. Like you don't have a 10-year-old who's like, I'm so happy at 80% of the time, and 20% it's I'm frustrated. It's always the inverse. It's always like 80% of the time I'm frustrated, and they're always frustrated because you didn't do something for them on time. You don't want to raise this kind of child and then put your head in the sand about, whether they're going to be an asshole when they're married. They are. Like, spoiler alert, if they're an asshole with you, they're going to keep being an asshole. Unless they are diverted, off the asshole track by you training them to be more empathic and take others' feelings into account, which is just done by, again, discussing your own feelings as though you're an important human being and that they ought to know about you, and that they're a family member and should know about other people's feelings within the family, not just their own. So you'll know that you're raising an emotionally aware, empathic, emotionally intelligent child when they ask, how was your day? Or they say, you look up, why are you upset? Or they say, what happened, with your new whatever, mommy, that you were talking about? What happened with your new client? Or what happened when you went to the store to get the thing that you needed? Whatever it is, they will express curiosity and interest in you because you are modeling that this is important to do. This doesn't happen by magic. When your kid is 4 years old, you say, how was your day, sweetheart? They say, blah, good, nothing, whatever. They don't usually say anything in response to that of much consequence. And then you would say, and now ask me, how was your day, mommy? And they say, how was your day, mommy? And then actually say something, say something that you would say to another human. It was mostly good. I didn't get to find the right thing at the grocery store, so I'm going to have to go out later. That was a little annoying, but I did find this new cool thing that I had been wanting to try. Look, it's a star fruit. Whatever, whatever the hell is developmentally appropriate to talk about that was resonant in your day, that indicates that you have a life outside of this child and that you have feelings and that your feelings are interesting to others. Remember, you want to be leading with that confident momentum, in every regard, including talking about your own feelings. If you don't act like your feelings matter, you're going to raise a kid that doesn't think other people's feelings matter. And they're going to turn into an adult that doesn't think that their spouse's feelings matter, or their coworkers, or their friends. So it starts at home. And a lot of women try to get out of, the hard part of this, understandably, by saying, well, I think that my husband should also be modeling this. Listen, work on you. Like, if you start modeling it, then they're going to start modeling it. If you're the man listening to my podcast about this, you start modeling it. You don't have to wait for their mother to start doing it. Men say that a lot less than women, because women say, well, I'm the one who's doing all the stuff with the kid and I'm worrying and I'm doing this and that and the other. So then they're already bitter about that they think they're doing too much stuff. So then they turn around and they say, why should I be the one who teaches the kid about emotion? Well, because you're the one interested in the podcast, why should you be the one to do anything? So then what's the better case scenario? You don't do it and your partner doesn't do it. Who loses? You lose, your child loses, everybody loses. So if you are the parent who's interested enough in psychology, frequently with my parenting podcast, it's women, but there's a lot of valiant dads out there trying to learn. Whoever is listening to this, start talking about your own feelings. Don't turn around and say, oh, we can only start when both of us start doing it at once. We're going to say 1, 2, 3, and both my spouse and I are going to shoot out an emotion out of our mouths. No, this is not a way to live or to model a normal, healthy relationship. That is a competitive, resentment-ridden marriage that nobody wants. So if you are the one listening to this, then you take it upon you to do the thing that you want to do, which is enhancing your child's emotional maturity and ability to empathize by modeling your own emotions, no matter what the hell your spouse is doing. Now, also, you should recognize that if you start doing this and you've never done it before, your kid's going to look at you like you have 2, 3, 5 heads. Doesn't matter. So they'll say, why are you saying how you're feeling, mommy, all the time? You say, I'm trying something new. I'd like to teach you about what I'm feeling. I am an important person. I'm your mommy. So you ought to know what I'm feeling. You think they're going to keep going with you after that? No, they're just going to look at you again, and then they're going to look back at whatever they're doing. But the next time, they probably won't say anything. This will now become a new norm, and you will be helping them understand people because you are a person. And if you struggle with thinking that you know what to say, how to say it, which of your emotions are important enough to impart, then it is likely that there is some family of origin stuff going on in which in your upbringing, emotions were never discussed, so you have no natural facility with it, which of course practice makes perfect, and you don't even need to be perfect, you just actually need to talk. And B, therapy can help you recognize that you're a person with enough worth and consequence and value to be able to share emotions and to think that everyone in your house really ought to care. Because don't you think that the world should stop for your child's smallest emotion? Probably you do. So then why not your emotions? Either all emotions matter or no emotions matter. Now, we know that no emotions matter isn't the way that we want to go. That does not make an emotionally aware child. That makes a pretty repressed child in a repressed home. But if only the child's emotions matter, and that's what everybody is feeding into all the time, then that is a self-absorbed child. So if you're going to talk about feelings in your family and you want to raise an emotionally aware child, you got to talk about everybody's feelings. Everybody who wants to talk about their feelings should be talking about their feelings. So then there is not only airtime for your child to perseverate and obsess on his feelings, and you obsess on his feelings. You are also a person, and your spouse is a person, and the siblings are people, and the animals that you have are people in their way. Everybody can have a feeling, and the feelings are discussed. And if two people feel different sorts of ways about something, that is also something very interesting to discuss, and that shows, oh my God, look, two people could think something different about the exact same topic. And that's so interesting. People are so different. Another thing by elementary school is that kids, you could take little personality tests with them online. I did that with my kids. It was fun. I could try to link you to the one that I did if I remember it, and you can know what a highly sensitive person is and take that quiz, and if it's relevant for your kids. My kids, no, 2 of them are highly sensitive people. The other one is too, but not to the extent. So this is also information. So you can teach your kid to be interested in themselves and everybody else in the family, which eventually will even broaden beyond that into being interested in everybody and everybody's feelings, and understanding that everybody has feelings and those are important, and we're curious and tolerant and interested in those. And that is how you make an emotionally aware child. And if a child is already asking these sorts of questions, likely they are both a sensitive child and also a more emotionally aware child. These two things do often concord because highly sensitive people are super observant about everything, so they see a lot of what people are feeling. But this can also, you can have highly sensitive kids where nobody talks about feelings in the family of origin, then they have no idea how to verbalize them. So, that does not help. Being a highly sensitive person, you still need information about feelings to learn so that you can actually communicate effectively about them. Even if you're picking up on something, you may not have the words to do it if you're not really trained that way at home. So hopefully this gave you some interesting information about emotional awareness and emotional maturity and how to promote an atmosphere in your family that everybody's feelings are important, starting with you, whichever parent is listening to this episode. And you can really promote this environment where people are benevolently curious about one another's internal world, and that can carry forward into the rest of your child's interpersonal relationships, can make them more successful interpersonally in every regard. All right, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this and learned from it, and have a great day.